Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Okay. Crazy news out of Victoria. I think it's crazy news anyway. This is where our society is now. We deny actual facts. We deny the truth of things. There are obviously things that we can debate in our society. I'm a person who believes in the Bible. I have a strong Christian faith. I don't mind if people want to debate with me, want to talk, want to argue even. However, my opinion, your opinion, I think we can all still have an opinion. We can disagree, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter, but we still need to be able to respect each other, and you don't always have to agree on things, okay? However, there are some things in life I don't really think are open to debate. And one of those things, which just seems to have permeated throughout the whole of society now, and it's craziness, especially in first world nations, Western societies, this idea that transgenderism is, it's based on fact, it's based on science. The whole thing to me seems like it's a delusion in the mind. Okay. People have been swept away in this delusion. Our young people are being brainwashed into thinking that they can just change their sex willy-nilly, just, wake up and they feel like something else. They call themselves these other pronouns. Speaking of pronouns, hope you noticed that my pronouns down here. So obviously this is the Slippery Slope podcast. My pronouns are the legend. Please refer to me as such. I'm joking. Hey, but anyway, so our young people now, not even just young people my age, even think that they can just wake up and refer to themselves as something else. What I find even more disturbing is when we have people in power, politicians and that, who they may say things that are based on fact that we have held as a society as fact for thousands of years, and now all of a sudden these things are deemed as offensive. I'm going to go through a couple of articles and listen to a short video. But let's talk about what happened in Victoria again. Victoria is absolutely losing its mind, given over to the delusion spoken about completely. I think Australia all, but Victoria is leading the way when going through the delusion that's spoken about in Romans chapter 1. Anyway, so this headline here, I'll bring it up so we can all have a look at it. It's always better. Check it out. Ferguson found in breach of council conduct. So there she is there. She said a few things on Twitter, well, formerly known as Twitter, now it's X. So Latrobe City Councillor Melissa Ferguson was required to apologise at the council meeting last Monday after an arbitration report found her online behaviour discriminatory and in breach of the councillor code of conduct. Councillor Ferguson's Twitter, now X, actions in April earlier this year were found as misconduct in regard to specific clauses of the local governance and integrity regulations 2020. Councillor Tracy Lund, she is the beacon of authority, the beacon of truth and justice. Anyway, in this story, she is in her own mind. Councillor Tracy Lund applied for the arbitration pursuit against Councillor Ferguson in early June, and an independent arbiter in Dr. Meredith Gibbs was assigned to the case. She's the superhero. Okay. Ferguson's the villain, and Tracy Lund, she is the bringer of justice. Councillor Lund took to Facebook to say, as an elected representative, my commitment to accountability, transparency, and calling out unprofessional and discriminatory behaviour is unwavering. As a councillor and as a human, calling on all the authority she's got with a councillor and a human being, I will never be a passive bystander to such behaviour. It is my sincere hope that this finding raises the bar on expectations for the behaviour and conduct of those entrusted with the privilege of public office. So they went after this Ferguson with the also the privilege of the public purse, and decided she was guilty because of her Twitter activity. So Twitter activity was deemed discriminatory. Let's check out what she said. The arbiter further found that the sentiments expressed by Councillor Ferguson over Twitter to be offensive and disrespectful of trans people, in the sense that a trans person would reasonably find this characterization of trans people as offensive and disrespectful. Councillor Ferguson received extensive backlash from the LGBTQI plus whatever else we want to name community for her Twitter posts earlier this year, with the Gippsland Pride Initiative labeling them as reprehensible, harmful, hateful, ignorant, and worse still, factually incorrect. Were they factually incorrect? Let's check it out. These include retweets of divisive feminist activists Rachel Wong and Angela Jones that the arbiter's report stated did not treat members of the public with dignity, fairness, courtesy, and respect. 3 posts. Tweet 1 was a retweet by the account, Councillor Melissa Ferguson, of a tweet by Gays Against Groomers. So homosexual people who are against groomers. The tweet reads as follows. Predators are hiding behind the rainbow and using it as a shield to prey on children. Our organisation will not allow our community to be scapegoats for this perversion, and abuse any longer. Okay, so that was the first one. Remember how they said up here that it was factually. LGBT community for her Twitter posts earlier this year, labeling them as reprehensible, harmful, hatefully ignorant, factually incorrect. So the gays against groomers are saying predators are hiding behind the rainbow, using it as a shield to prey on children. Is that factually incorrect? Doesn't seem so to me. Seems like there's a lot of truth in it. Those predators lie and use plenty of things as a shield. You can't deny it and say it's factually incorrect. The second piece of evidence was a tweet by Councillor Melissa Ferguson, which Councillor Lund, she's the hero in this story apparently, submitted was offensive to trans children by likening them to a gender bender, and also offensive to those responsible for workplace training and other similar programs, because it might make them realize that they are wasting their time. Expressions of those opinions do not support the council. In her defense, Councillor Ferguson said she could not be held responsible for any retweets investigated, but the arbiter disagreed in this context. Oh, wow. You're guilty no matter what, Councillor. The arbiter found that the retweeting of the tweets made an explicit endorsement of approval of its contents. Though councillors can express independent views through the media, the arbiter said unofficial personal comments must be made clear and separate from the council. Despite Councillor Ferguson's Twitter name change and bio disclaimer that all tweets are her own opinion, the arbiter found, she states specifically, this is my own opinion, the arbiter found that this further created ambiguity about the role in which Councillor Ferguson was acting. Like I said, she's going to be guilty no matter what. The arbiter stated that failing to comply with these directions would be a serious misconduct. Anyway, so look, let's have a listen to what Moira Deeming said on Sky News when she was talking about how we need to stand up for free speech and commenting on this case with Ferguson. Let's check it out.
2 weeks ago, a Latrobe Council Arbitration Court declared Councillor Ferguson guilty of making offensive social media posts. She was then ordered to acknowledge guilt and apologise. Joining me to discuss this is a woman who has also been pursued by the gender activists for holding mainstream views on sex and gender, former Liberal MP, now an independent MP, Moira Deeming. Thanks for your time, Moira. This case with Councillor Ferguson, again, it's so sinister. What she has said is, I would think majority of Victorians feel that way, whether they're Labor or Liberal, and she's being persecuted for it.
Yeah, it's just another in a long series of total abuses of power by people in authority. You know, people need to be really standing up for reasonable freedom of speech. You know, she's being forced to make this false confession, or she's going to be expelled. Apparently, this is what her lawyers told her. And I'd just like to point out that Latrobe City Council, they published a press release saying that she was guilty before the investigation had even happened.
Did you hear that? Investigation hadn't even happened, and they've already pronounced her as being guilty. Oh, yeah. And we have such great free speech here in this nation.
I mean, this is insane. We have to do something about this in Victoria.
And it's typically women who are the victims of this ideology, isn't it?
Oh, just briefly, when she says there's typically women,
Typically women who are the victims of this ideology, isn't it?
So she says it's typically women who are victims of this ideology. Did you? And, she's right. It does seem to be women who are typically victims. However, it also seems to be I haven't checked out the exact statistics, but it does seem to be women who are the perpetrators a lot of the time, women attacking women over having such insane ideas as, there's only two genders. It was Lund. She sees herself as the protagonist. She sees herself as the hero in this story. She attacked Ferguson, and then they put her over to an arbitrator, another female, and, she retweeted tweets from a feminist activist. It's all the females attacking each other. And, yeah, they are the victims in the end. But it seems like very much, I don't know. Anything else I say, I'll probably sound sexist, but I don't know. A lot of the time I read these stories and it seems very much like women attacking other women. And then the men get up, these crazy men get up and say, well, I'm now a woman, I can do this. And you see all these other women standing up for them. And men are just allowed to get away with it. It's the whole society. Society's ludicrous right now.
Because we're the most impacted, and it's often women who speak out.
That's right. So not only are we the most vulnerable because of these extreme laws, but when we speak up, it does seem that we are the ones that get expelled from wherever we are. And look, I can't help but see the similarities between her case and mine. And my heart goes out to her and to all the people that are trying to speak up on this issue, because it comes at a great cost, clearly.
Yeah. So one thing I've been thinking about is there's a reason why women end up being the victims within these kinds of cases. I think is because men don't want to speak up. We keep getting thrown under the bus all the time. We're told constantly from the feminist movement that we really shouldn't have an opinion. Most things in this world are men's faults as well. Obviously, if you're a white man, forget about it. You need to shut your mouth. But men in general are constantly told that they are the problem. So then when we see like a female councillor report another female councillor for something that they said on Twitter, and then they put the female arbitrator there to decide who's at fault here, men won't come to their defense because men don't want to get involved now, because men are constantly just berated, thrown under the bus, told that their opinions don't matter. Nothing we do matters. Everything in society is our fault anyway. So we don't get the right to have an opinion, especially when it comes to things that involve females. That's what it feels like to me. We're constantly in trouble anyway. So men just like, well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. And like I said, forget about it if you're a white fella in this land these days. Hey, this is all craziness. I think there is 100% a spiritual issue going across our nation. Like I said, you can deny it all you want. You may think that, Jay, don't start talking about Bible issues, but the Bible very clearly says that God gives us over to our own delusions because we deny God. We start worshiping the created rather than the creator, women going after women, men going after men. God says, well, hey, I'll just take my hand off you, and reaping. We are reaping the rewards of our own stupidity. But hey, that's just my own opinion. This is a spiritual issue. We are a land living in delusion. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about men not standing up for women in these cases as well. Should we just be standing up? Women do tend to be the victims, but is this because of a greater issue where men just don't want to speak up anymore? Let me know what you think. We are on the slippery slope in society, especially Victoria is leading the way. That's my opinion. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope.
Fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's gonna bring